Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Aries Sky, and I'm doing a video reply to this video on forced feminization. Now, some people, uh, like yourself, hasn't finished the video. You cut it off in a sentence. I guess that means I have to finish the sentence. Now, the reason I am posting this is I have my own reason. One, some people think that I want it paid for by my partner. My partner is disabled. Their only forms of income is making pipes. They're a pipe maker. Therefore, whenever they put 500, 1,000, 2,000, whatever dollars towards Thailand, they do it. But I've put in enough money, saved up enough, to get it done anyways, and I have my own means. Therefore, forced feminization video was only made for one reason. That was to tell people that I've seen many groups on MySpace saying that they want to be forced feminized, but they wanted it for various reasons, mostly a fetish. If you were listening to what I said, it was a fetish. Now, the ones that really want it done, well, more power to them. I knew one person who wanted to be forced feminized, who was transsexual, like myself. What happened? They underwent the sex change by going through prostitution, hooker. Now, mind you, I am an evil person when I say this, because I regret it every day and it's my own sin. They asked me once before how they could pay for it, and I said be a prostitute. Mind you, I didn't think they'd take it literally, so my soul's always in torment for that one. Now, being a girl and being expensive, you're only expensive because you're expensive. You can be really, really, really dirt cheap. There was a woman who sent me a private message who said they could live on 6 meat sticks a year. These 18-inch armor meat sticks. They chop them up. They put them in ramen noodles. They eat cheaper than I. And they said I could always ask for tips. I've been pondering it. So, that's another way to save money and to pay for your sex change. Now, chest work, why don't you just say breast augmentation? Or if it's chest work, then you're female to male. Mind you, I think you're male to female the way you said women are expensive. I'm not expensive except for when I want my gizmos. And my man Aaron takes care of the gizmos. Mind you, certain gizmos I like, he goes out of his way to get. I go out of my way for tools for him to keep continuing making pipes. Now, the other thing you were talking about is if you had a man, you'd have him pay for it. But you can't force a man to pay for it. Aaron and I have been together 5 years. If you know the history of Aaron, which, by the way, I think I will tell you this, Aaron used to be Sarah. Sarah used to be John. They couldn't handle the sex change because of medication problems. They had to go off hormones. They live as a bald man now, a fat bald man. I love their personality. I love their attitude. They have mental problems. They dissociate, black out, and then to get into reality, they have to cut on their arms or legs or back. Therefore, that is why you need to know that technically that when I want something, usually I work or save for it, or I have plans for it. That's what they call accounting or future plans. So, before you say, oh yeah, you got a guy that's going to pay for it, my guy offered it to me because they can't get theirs done. Therefore, you should not assume that I'm being taken care of. I've already said I'd take care of it myself. I worked for 75% saving up and going through. I've lived 12 years in hormones. 12 years full time. Still working on electrolysis slowly. Because where I live, it's hard to get to 40 miles to the nearest town. So, technically, before you go and say, oh yeah, Um, if I had a man and I know what I want, well, then go find yourself a man if that's what you want. But you better make sure you find one who's rich, who will afford it. Otherwise, you are screwed. See, me, I don't ask for help. My pride is too much up there, which means no help for me. Aaron just said he wanted to take care of it because he could, and technically he wanted to because I've been with him almost 5 years. So 5 good long years in August 7th. So 5 years is a long time. I want to make it another 5 or 10 or 15 or 20. Heck, his grandparents were married 50 years, so gold. So I want to do the same. Even though I like women and I've always been attracted to women, I found that what I want is like I said, you need to realize that frankly, in this economy, people will do anything to get their sex change paid for. I mean, there's a girl on MySpace that, from what I've done recon work, owns 2 cars, one with a custom plate, a boat, a condo, a house, apartment, owns all this crap who could pay for it, but wants the man to pay for it. So basically, they're like a escort or a hooker as it is. And doesn't want to give up what they've acquired over the years. Now, mind you, I can tell you a few things too that you might not like. Like if I want something that's expensive, that's on my goals list, Aaron, he'll go out of his way to buy money orders or not money or gift certificates, stockpile them up in our safe, and when it's built enough, he goes and has it ordered for me. Usually something very expensive that I want for one-time use. Or not one-time use, but the use for various reasons. So, so technically, before you go out and be like, oh yeah, if I had a man, they could take care of it. A man does not have to give you what you want. It's like in the Bible. Solomon said, it's unfair that you work all your life, then give everything to your son as an inheritance or daughter when they haven't worked a day in their life. Well, listen to me. A guy who is a hard worker, who you meet, who you think should pay for it, because maybe you're connecting up with him and stuff, it's not his job. It's your job to take care of it. If you want it bad enough, you'll find any and all means to force feminize yourself, which could be prostitution, escorting, again, hooking, or you can go to school, get a decent job, do things that you need. You don't need to just sit there. Hell, you could probably even find a way to get into the porn acting if you know what you're doing right. Just make sure you're AIDS free and everything will work out, So, technically, you just need to have patience. Now, if you have to complain about pricing, well, let me just tell you this. Nothing in this world is cheap. That's right. Everything is expensive. Hell, I have to go through QVC at times for certain electronics I need for my projects. Digital camera, I don't want to fork out $300-400 at once, so I go through the payment plan in QVC. Netbooks, same thing. Me and my man has to have netbooks. I put it on my debit card that the government issued me for my deposits every month. So, before you go and be like, oh yeah, I need a man to pay for it, you gotta first find the man, and secondly, the man doesn't owe you jack diddly crap. So, with that said, you also understand that what I'm saying is nothing's cheap in this world. Being a girl isn't cheap unless you know how to pull it off being cheap, like I am. I'm dirt cheap. I'm like frugal. So, with that said, my dinner's ready. I'm going to log off and eat it. So, hasta lasagna, and please comment if you wish. Thank you and have a good night.